Hello everyone, this is Zeeebo and welcome to this AFK journey video. So in this AFK journey video, we're going to talk about the top 10 best early game units for the Echoes of Dissent season. So this is based off my experience pushing through contents in the very first week, as well as running through all the different game modes and the different contents that are currently available for the new season itself. So starting off, we'll talk about some honorable mentions. First of all, this top 5 honorable mention, number 1 is Sinbad. So Sinbad, don't get me wrong, I don't think Sinbad is a bad unit this season, and Sinbad is still a really good Dream Realm character as a physical damage dealer, goes hand in hand with Sonya, but this season's early game Dream Realm is heavily dominated by Shamira, right? So there are a few boss fights where I think Sinbad is better than Shamira, maybe Necro Dragon, and to a certain extent Illusia, provided if your Sinbad teams are more built up, right? But in most cases, Shamira is gapping every other carry for all the different Dream Realm bosses, except for Nocturne Judicator and maybe Necro Dragon from yesterday's replay itself. So I think for now, Sinbad is pretty strong. Like, he's still good, honorable mention definitely, but I think the usage for Sinbad right now is more confined to very specific bosses for the early game of Dream Realm, which makes him only an honorable mention. Like, he's not versatile, and neither is he like a must-have. Cause like if you don't have Sinbad but you have Shamira, you can just use like Shamira to actually amp up your damage in most cases. So that's why I put him in the honorable mention side. So next we talk about Talin. So Talin is pretty powerful on the AoE damage side. Similar to Sinbad, you can see Talin being used for some of the bosses for the Dream Realm side, and Talin is pretty good on the PvP side with the revive mechanics, with the massive AoE damage potential, and also the factional talent and the faction, right? Celestial Hypogean being more universal for normal arena. So the reason why Talin is not higher is because for the AFK stage pushing side, Talin sees some use but very niche. For the Dream Realm side, Shamira's gapping most of the units, and Talin is also similar to Sinbad, being good in specific bosses. So that's why Talin is here. So another unit which I would like to sort of group together with Talin will be Atalia. So Atalia is the strongest PvP character, right? Used for your mobbing purposes with game modes such as Relentless Rumble, with game modes where you need to kill units faster like Battle Drill, right? Making Atalia also decent, but Atalia's niche to the PvP side. So PvE side, Dream Realm, you don't see Atalia a lot. For the AFK stage pushing side, don't see a lot as well. But you do see her in the Relentless Rumble game modes, which is going to come on the events tab right here. So that's that for the Atalia angle. So Atalia and Talin, I'll group them together as some of the honorable mention. And then Kruger. Okay, Kruger this season is actually really good, or rather decently good in the early game, but also for the Dream Realm side. So Kruger's good for Nocturne Judicator for the debuff onto the boss. Right, Kruger's also not bad with Sinbad. So whatever boss which I think you can use Sinbad in for the early game Dream Realm, you can run Kruger with Sinbad. So Illusia, Necro Dragon, Chris Shellbrute, Nocturne Judicator, they are all Kruger viable. So Kruger additionally is gonna partner with the upcoming unit Indris decently well. So if Indris also has a pie in terms of the different game modes, you will need a premier physical damage debuffer, which means that Kruger will be the first unit that I'll think of, which means that he is quite good, right, from that angle. But right now, as of what he is, not so good everywhere else, just maybe for the Dream Realm side. So that's why I'm just putting him on the honorable mentions. Okay, now next one is Rowan. So Rowan is good, but for the AFK stage pushing, and maybe to a certain extent maybe your PvP teams, because AFK stage push, there's always this Iron Armor's Rowan Star Shard cycle combo going on, and it's still very valid. But in like this, I would say this is a case where it occurs depending on, you know, whether or not you need other units for the team, right? You can do that Iron Armor's Rowan Smoky combo, for example, but then this means that, you know, it's only in that one team. So you can obviously use Rowan in the OD Smoky team as well, OD Smoky Coco team as well. So I think Rowan's position is more skewed towards the AFK stage side, but with a lot of good substitutes, like for example Bonnie, with the likes of Hugin running around, with twins available in the pool, with your other healers like Damien or Hewin, I think there are substitutes for Rowan. So that's why I'm not giving him the top 10. And for the PvP side, yes, you can put him in your Siren teams, for example. You can put him in your Light Barrel factional teams, for example. But then, like, he's not a must-have. Like, I think he's a good to have, but not a must-have. So I would say more of his use will be more towards the AFK stage pushing side with the Iron Armor's Star Shard cycle combo. So that's why he's in the honorable mention. Pretty good, you still see him around, but I think you have better units. So you can also group OD in that similar sense. Like, you still see OD for the AFK stage pushing side, but you just have better units in the top 10. So that's why they're not up there, okay? Then last but not least, we have Fresto. Some of you guys might be wondering, hey, isn't Fresto the best tank in the game? Like, isn't Fresto like, you know, this omnipotent damage dealer frontliner with buff for your allies kind of concept? And I've always been strongly recommending Fresto for like the first Celestial Hypogean to be built up. And I still stand clear on that because I think Fresto is still really good. You see Fresto being used for the AFK stages with the Mauler teams. But for the Mauler teams, you can use other tanks like, for example, Kalen to mid-shield. Right, you can also use Torrent as a downgrade version of a tank, and there are a lot more tank options available right now for that specific role that Fresto is doing for the Mauler team. So that's one. Two, Mauler, Fresto in the early game, not so good for the Dream Realm side. So far, the only boss that Fresto is seeing used is Nocturne Judicator. I mean, this is obviously because like Fresto's kit is more late game centric for the Endless Dream Realm side. So he's seeing used for Nocturne Judicator because he's one of the better damage dealer, and he's one of the only damage dealer which has damage going through against this boss. So this is why you're seeing him here. But other bosses so far, Fresto is not in the best teams for the early game. So Dream Realm side, he will need time to transit to be the mega carry once again. So we will re-evaluate him in the late game once we reach that stage of the game. But in the current stage, not that good for the Dream Realm side. Then for the PvP side, I use Fresto a lot for my normal arena, obviously, because I'm a free-to-play player, and I think Fresto is the best tank for my account. So like, I think if you have him as the best tank, he's still going to be really, really good. But he's not a must-have. Like I mentioned, you have other tank options like Kalen, Torrent, and if you're new, if you haven't built up Fresto, he might not be your strongest tank, and he might not be able to tank as well, and this is where he might not be the top option. So that's for Fresto. I think he's still the best tank. He's still the most versatile tank around. But in the top 10 itself, there are units which are just seeing used everywhere. There are units that are insanely strong right now, and they are must-have units for the different game modes. So that's why Fresto is in my honorable mention. Okay, so starting off with the official top 10 at no particular order, we'll start off with Siren. So Siren, without a doubt, is still one of the most prominent PvP characters around, both for normal arena as well as Supreme Arena, with the Mythic Plus ability for the prevention of the artifact for the first 8 seconds on your opponent's side. Other than that, I think Siren's AoE potential with the repositioning potential is also really good for the AFK stage pushing side with your smoky teams for the AFK stage pushing. And this unit is just really, really powerful for both the PvE contest normal as well as Supreme Arena side to warrant the top 10 itself. Yeah, one of the most meta and accessible character, because this unit is, I'll say, like on par with Atalia in terms of general power level for PvP. Like, you usually build teams with these two units in mind for the team setup itself. So like PvP wise, I think Siren is one of the most meta still, and you can still use him for the AFK stage pushing side together with Hugin, Rowan, together with your smoky team, for example. You can also run Siren with your Iron Armors team for the control, pull and then insta kill with the Gravitic Requiem right here, making him worthy of a top 10 must-have early game, or top 10 really good units in the early game. So next one, we have the next unit, Almas. So Almas and Iron, they are a package, right? So one thing that you guys will realize is if Iron is hanging around for your control-centric purpose, then Almas will be around as well, because Iron alone is good, right? But Iron and Almas together is amazing because of the like initial control, immobilize, defense down, together with the insta root, and then having the additional frontlining power to go hand in hand with Iron, so that you can, you know, sort of change your backline and your win condition in the backline differently. So this actually leads to a lot of different variations around this combo in the AFK stage pushing side. So we have the OD version, right? We have the Bonnie with Tarsi version for the AFK stage pushing side. So we also have like just like Rowan with a whole bunch of ultimate spams with Starshot spell with the Iron Almas combo, cause the control, the skill spam, the magical defense debuff, as well as the frontlining power of this duo is just really good. So AFK stage pushing side, they are amazing. They are like top tier must have if in terms of AFK stage pushing in the early game. And then obviously this combo also extends to the PvP side for your normal as well as Supreme Arena. Therefore, these two units, they are pretty good top 10 characters in the early game. Okay, next we have Sonya. So some of you guys might be wondering, why is Sinbad not in the top 10 but Sonya is in the top 10? So Sonya is also really good for all the bosses that Sinbad is good in. So Northern Judicator, Illusia, as well as every other boss where you have a carry you can buff. So Sonya is a lot more versatile while still being useful together with Sinbad, and Sonya also has AoE, which means that you can actually use Sonya to do content such as your Relentless Rumble or your Battle Drills more easily for those contents where you need AoE coverage itself. So in general, I think one of the reasons why I place Sonya higher than Sinbad is because there are a lot more powerful carries that Sonya can go hand in hand with, like for example Pharamore, for example Shamira, which is in the top 10 obviously. So that's why Sonya is a lot more versatile and a lot more powerful in, you know, what she can do in the early game. So that's why I'm putting her in the top 10. So for Sonya's case, most importantly, she will be in the team for the Crimson Covenant to hyper buff your carry, and obviously for a little bit of AoE damage and her physical damage side of things. So that's for Sonya. Next we have Tasi. Tasi is easily still one of the strongest PvP characters around, with the ability to deal massive AoE damage with the sleeping potential. And like I mentioned earlier, you can put Tasi with your Iron Armors combo for the wildest chain control together with, for example, Rowan. So Rowan gets off the ultimate, charge up the energy for all the wilders, Iron Armors control, Tasi ultimate, and then you cycle through the skill with damage from Starshot or even twins in general. So that's why Tasi is still an insanely powerful and versatile character. Maybe not so much for the Dream Realm side, but I'll say she's still top tier for the AFK stage pushing, as well as the PvP side in terms of team builds, as well as all the different things she can combo with. So that's for Tasi. Okay, so the last 5, I think this will be relatively short, because these are just units which has been seeing use from season 3, and they are still really good and they are still really versatile all around moving forward. So first of all, we have Bonnie, being a good damage dealer, being a good debuffer, AoE coverage with control with your Iron Armors team. So AFK stage pushing side, Bonnie is pretty potent. You can also form the Graveborn teams with Bonnie. You can also put Bonnie into multiple PvP teams for normal arena as well as Supreme Arena. You can run Bonnie with our dear Shamira in the early game for the Dream Realm side for damage as well. So generally speaking, Bonnie is still a really good character, and particularly so for her good secondary carry status together with Shamira in the early game. So Bonnie is pretty good to have. So next one, we have our Smokey. So Smokey and Murky needs no introduction. One of the late game endless Dream Realm units that you always see running around, and Smokey has always been this unit that's good for the Dream Realm side, for all the different good stuff that Smokey is able to do. And early game wise, you have the Mauler teams, right? You have Smokey, you have Coco, you have Odie. So Odie is not in the top 10, but Odie, I'll say I can group Odie in the same category as Sinbad. Like good, but very specific in terms of the usage, whereas Smokey here is more versatile. So like Odie is still used with your Smokey and Murky with Coco for the Mauler tech on your AFK stage push, but on the bossing side, I think Shamira just power crap Odie out of Oblivion, and I think Odie isn't seeing as much use as a premier bossing character unless you're free to play and you just started, or like you don't have other better carries. That Odie is probably still the better one for you. But in this case, Smokey hasn't really been sort of replaced yet in terms of his usage. Still really meta, still very versatile, so that's why Smokey and Murky is in the top 10. Then next we have Coco. So Coco, similar to Smokey, right, used in the Mauler teams. You can use Coco in the early game PvP with the Mauler factional talent, and more importantly in the earlier stages of the Dream Realm side. Coco's damage reduction with shielding is just so good that it will actually net you a lot more damage if your unit is able to survive for another 30 seconds. So like Dream Realm side, Coco's insanely powerful in the early game, insanely powerful for deficit pushing in the early game with the Mauler teams as well. And with Mauler getting a okay Mauler factional talent, you can obviously run Coco to proc your factional talent for the Mauler side in Supreme Arena and still see her work over there. So Coco, pretty good stuff. Okay, so next one, these two I think needs no introduction. Shamira and twins, let's start with twins, right? Like, yeah, every game mode can see twins silhouette, and you use twins almost everywhere. And like, I don't think you have a better support compared to twins. So being the best support in the game pretty much sees use everywhere, because support is pretty much a must for all the different game modes, right? Tank might not be a must, but your support is a must. So that's why Layla and Elijah right here, they are really good units, because yeah, they're pretty much used in every content because they're the best unit, and they are really good in terms of what they have to offer for the team. Stats buff, haste buff, control immunity, as well as your shooting, healing, and also a little bit of control. So yeah, needs no explanation, just really good unit. Last but not least, Corpse Maker Shamira. So yeah, Shamira's dominating everything that is damage centric. Like, I'm using Shamira in almost every single Dream Realm boss fight, like except for maybe Nocturne Judicator and maybe Necro Dragon, but everything else is Shamira, right? So that's like the strongest carry in the early game. And then for like Final Supreme Arena, yeah, everywhere is also Shamira. Like she's just really good. Like once she gets off her ultimate, she's just really good. And like, even for AFK stage, which I think is her weaker compartment, you can also run her if you have sufficient control or sustain for her to get off her ultimate. So like, this is probably the game mode where you don't see as much Shamira, but you can actually see Shamira with this sort of team setup. You can also see Shamira with the Mauler team setup, with Shamira replacing Odie in those teams in general. So yeah, like, this is one game mode which I think Shamira is probably not so powerful at. But every other game mode, from all your different Dream Realm, your arenas, your events like Relentless Rumble, yeah, Shamira's dominating the current DPS charts as the best carry in the early game for Echoes of Dissent season. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this video. It was really hard to sort of give straight out top 10s. I actually wanted to do a top 15, but considering the length of the video, because I want to spend some time to talk about the honorable mention, I decided to cut down to top 10. But here are even more units which are pretty good. Okay, Odie, Lily May, Pheromore, Ludovic, Hugin, they're also really good. There are a whole lot of other really good units as well, but for the top 10, I grouped those units based on their versatility, their meta usage, and how good they are in the early game in, you know, doing what they do for you in the team itself. So that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you very much for tuning in. Do remember to like, subscribe to see more. I'll see you guys again in my next video. Bye guys.